Hi, this is Web3 Talks, the podcast where we learn how to build Web3 projects directly from Web3 founders. My name is Maciej Budkowski and I talk with the founders about their projects, business models, technology, community building, user acquisition strategies, and more. If you want to start your own project or are just curious about the space, this podcast will bring you answers. Stay tuned. Okay, and we're live. Hey, Chairman, I'm very happy to have you on the pod. For those who don't know Chairman, his title seems to be well earned because he owns 14 Bored Apes, something like that. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into Web3 and crypto before we get to the Ludo Labs project?
Sure. Hi, Mac, if I may call you that. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on. Very excited to talk about NFTs and Ludo Labs with you. You're right, it's in that ballpark. It's actually 22 apes.
Oh.
But who's counting? Clearly me. But no, just kidding. So I'm very excited to be here and happy to share my journey. So the question is, how did I get into crypto and Web3? I first found out about crypto in 2013 when I was a student at university. So I was studying in America at Columbia University, and I had a course called The History of Money.
Mm-hmm.
And in this course, the professor kind of took us through the origins of money, referencing some island called Yap in Polynesia, which had stone tablets, which were thought to be some of the first forms of money. So going all the way from stone money on Yap to, coins and tally sticks, through to dollars and possibly Bitcoin, which is this thing which the professor asked, can this be the future of money? And I didn't really understand what that even meant. I mean, how can somebody create money? As a 21-year-old, I was very confused. What does that even mean? I had no idea. I tried to wrap my head around it. It took a long time to really sink in. I'm sure most people who are in this field will appreciate that it takes time to kind of fully understand the ideas because they're so large and so mind-bending. But then once I kind of understood how blockchains work and what they represent, I was hooked. And that was my entry.
Okay, and have you started working in this space before, or what were you understood the idea and what happened next? You just left it alone, or you just
Yeah, it was very difficult to leave it alone. I think once the idea is in your head, it refuses to go away. So for me, I was a student back then. I didn't really have a lot that I could do with it, except for just following forums online. I was on Bitcoin Talk. I was on a lot of these old forums, reading what people were saying, trying to just educate myself, attending meetups in New York and stuff like that. Eventually, a couple of years later, I decided that I wanted to learn how to code and kind of get into this whole world. So I did that, and I ended up co-founding a company in India, which is where I'm from, which was working in the blockchain space. So that company was probably doing the most boring thing in all of blockchain history, which is private enterprise blockchain developer tools.
Oh God!
But but it was a good learning experience, and we were one of the first companies back then, and the first one to get funded by a bunch of VCs and stuff. So it was a good, interesting learning experience. And since then, I've just remained involved as an investor. So I invest in coins, I invest in NFTs, I advise a few projects, I invest in crypto companies, because previously, before Ludo Labs, the last thing I was doing was running a VC fund. So I was investing in crypto companies, and I've been kind of in the space for a long time. And then now with Ludo Labs, I'm kind of getting back into the operational side of things of actually building.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So before we get to Ludo Labs, I will share a quick story how I bumped into that, because it will show how the fact that you own apes kind of make me trust the project. Because I was scrolling Twitter a month ago or something, and I've seen that Madhavan from Questbook liked your post. And this post was a screenshot from an Instagram post by Diogo Dalot, who's Manchester United player. And I know him because I'm Manchester United supporter, and I thought, okay, but there's a hand clap emoji comment from Cristiano Ronaldo. So it got me intrigued because it was post about NFT. So I was wondering what's that about? And I opened Ludo Labs website, I checked it out, it looked cool. And then I've seen, okay, but who's behind it? And I've seen like just apes and like cool cats behind it. And I was confused for a moment. But, then I talked with my friend and he asked me, okay, but like, what's the due diligence of this product? And I said, okay, but like, apes are behind it. And one of the guy who's like the main guy behind the product, he owns a lot of apes. So because he owns apes and he does the project with professional football players, I don't think these people would risk their reputation to get like, 100 ifs or something. And it's when you're outside of space, this kind of due diligence seems like nuts, because you see someone got like a JPEG of an ape. But yeah, it really works. So could you tell us a little bit like a story behind the Ludo Labs, like how you started it and what's the main idea?
Yeah, sure. So I've been interested in NFTs for a long time. I think the first NFT that I got was Decentraland Land back in 2017. Back then we didn't even, the term NFT wasn't used widely or at all, but it was still like an interesting idea. It was a concept that, hey, someday we'll have these things. Even when CryptoPunks came out, they didn't actually have lots of popularity, right? Like CryptoPunks didn't sell out, even though they were free. People
Oh,
just didn't claim the punks until much later. So, the idea took a long time to settle in, but then I think this year 2021 is when things really just took off. And for me personally, my interest in NFTs was reignited in May when I came across Bored Ape Yacht Club. And me and my co-founders, one of them, his name is Foresight, we are actually good friends from university, and we came across Bored Ape Yacht Club at the same time, and we really liked the art. Something about that ape just seemed very relatable and very cool. So we wanted to own the apes. And at that time, it was like, less than one ETH to buy an ape. So we bought a few apes, not really knowing what would happen. But then we saw the way that the community was so active and so kind of supportive, humorous, passionate, and how the devs behind the project kept building cool features and building cool partnerships to add value to the community. And soon that rocket ship started to take off. And of course, the prices went up. But what became clear is that NFTs are actually a very important technology because they allow people to express themselves. And that's the reason why we use our apes as our identity in the metaverse and online, is because like your NFTs, when you get them in your collection, you feel some kind of bond with them. You feel like they represent you. You really have an affinity to them. And that was a really interesting thing which we discovered. And that's why, I think we're having this whole NFT boom, is because people really relate to and connect with their digital assets the same way that we spend money on our avatars in League of Legends or Fortnite. That's because we spend so much time in those online worlds. We want to spruce them up in much the same way that you might want to spend money decorating your house in the physical world because you spend a lot of time there. But going forward, we spend time in the digital world. So having a digital avatar or a digital home is actually a cool idea that relates to people. And we were completely hooked by Bored Ape Yacht Club and by the NFT movements that were happening. And as we got more and more into it, we began to realize that, in our opinion, the future of NFTs will be something more than just a cool JPEG. While I love JPEGs and I think digital art is very cool and digital collectibles are very cool, even if they don't have any utility beyond just being a flex that you can show as like a rare NFT on your profile, I think that there's more to come. And I think a lot of people agree that utility is the next wave of NFTs. But in contrast to monetary utility, which is well understood in the context of play to earn games, where you can use an NFT to earn money in the form of, let's say, SLP tokens and Axie Infinity or whatever, we think that there's another kind of utility that NFTs can also enable, which is experiential utility. So by owning NFTs, you can get cool experiences in the real world or in the online world, but these are not monetizable, quantifiable experience, rewards. It's more like the experience itself is the utility. So we wanted to kind of work on that. And one of the things which we love and we're passionate about, our favorite thing in the whole world is football, soccer for the American listeners. So we're absolutely crazy about it. We're like completely fanatical, passionate, like, how it is, right? It's like an
yeah.
obsession. It's like a lifestyle. So we're very lucky that while we love it and we share that love with, a billion people around the world, we're also in a unique position that we have relationships with these football players. And those relationships are because my colleague Foresight and my other colleague Wolf, who are both co-founders of Ludo Labs, they have been working with these footballers for a long time. They've been kind of friends of the footballers, and they used to play professional football themselves, and that's how they kind of met these players, and they built up a relationship with them, and they've been advising football players on a variety of kind of economic and financial matters because their backgrounds are also in finance and tech, like me.
Mm-hmm.
So because of those relationships, we have access to these players who are very curious about Web3 and about crypto. And we said, hey, why don't we take the ideas that Bored Ape Yacht Club helped us kind of understand, marry that together with utility, and deliver real world experiences with football players to people around the world who love football the way we do. So that's how the idea came about.
Yeah, thanks for this introduction. Regarding this connection, so the listeners can get the idea. During the mint day, Paolo Dybala, who is one of the best football players of our time and has 44 millions of Instagram followers, he shared a post about NFT mint, which I was super surprised to see, even though I know that he's involved. Because NFTs are not that obvious to many people, the fact that he had guts to do it, it only shows how close you are with these players.
Mm-hmm.
What I really like about Ludo is how much value you deliver to the collectors. And I was wondering whether Bored Apes were an inspiration here, because for people who aren't in Ludo, you have a Discord channel where you can discuss football, which is obviously a basic thing. But there was a raffle where you could win a Paolo Dybala jersey that was signed by him. There was a football quiz where you could get an NFT, which you could redeem for a personal shout out from Patrice Evra, who is, by the way, one of my favorite players. You could ask me anything with Diogo Dalot. There's a league where you can predict matches and win some ETH. So there's really a lot of utility, and it really expanded my understanding of what NFT can be used for. So I'm wondering, do you have any new ideas that you want to implement in Ludo in terms of utility? And how do you even come up with all these ideas?
Sure. Thanks, Mac, for the question. So the one guiding principle and motivation for us in Ludo Labs is to deliver really, really cool, unforgettable experiences to football lovers. We are football lovers ourselves. We're obsessed with the game. We know how much it means to people. And that's why we want to just help people achieve these awesome experiences. And the more we can do that, the happier that we are. And in the process, we want to explore and expand the boundaries of what's possible with NFTs and Web3. So we are definitely influenced and inspired by Bored Ape Yacht Club because they create so much value for their collectors. I remember in the early days, as a collector, someone said, hey, did you know that you're getting a free dog? And I was like, what? I don't know. And then they gave me a free dog. And then you're able to get free mutants and serums and all of these crazy things. And culminating in Ape Fest, which was their real world conference where my favorite band of all time, The Strokes, played a private concert for Bored Ape holders. So that's crazy real world utility, and that definitely inspires us at Ludo Labs. And all of these ideas that you mentioned, like quizzes and meme contests and stuff like that, I don't know where the ideas come from. Sometimes we think of them, sometimes the players think of them, sometimes community members think of them. But everything that we do, we want to do it so that for a football fan, it's fun. And I know that I have a lot of fun when I do a football quiz. I know that I enjoy predicting the results to matches because that always makes watching the match more exciting, right? Because you have something riding on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all just about kind of having fun and pushing the boundary of what we can do together as a community in this very new world, right? It's a super new world. Nobody can say that they know it inside out. They can predict the future. So we're all kind of learning as we go along, and hopefully people can have really cool experiences while we do that.
Yeah, your community is very vibrant. It's not big yet, but I feel like it's one of the most active Discord channels that I am part of. And I'm part of 50 Discord channels, definitely too many. But I was wondering, because people discuss matches there, sometimes watch them together and comment, what's happening on the screen. They flex their cards, they share their stadium pictures. There's obviously Big Will, which is like a legendary person in the Ludo Labs community. So how do you take care of this community? Do you have any, playbook or kind of like a guiding policy that you follow along to make people so active? Because it's really uncommon to see such an active community.
Thank you. No, I would say, and by the way, yes, Big Will is an absolute legend. If anybody's listening to this and you have not come across Big Will, then you're missing out. So, join our Discord and you can see the legend himself in action. But yeah, we don't really have like a playbook as such. So, like, we just try to always be honest and be open with the community. And our idea is that if we just treat everyone with respect and honesty, then we expect that of people, and we'll create like a positive community, and luckily that's been what's happened so far. One thing that works in our favor is that we're working in an industry which people already really, really love, which is football. Right? We're not trying to create something new which has no fans. We're working in a space which already has billions of fans who are super passionate. So people are very happy to come on every day, talk about football, talk about transfers, talk about matches, and of course other things as well. Like we discuss NFTs, crypto, and other stuff. But the thing which draws everyone in is a shared love for football, and connecting with people who share that love is a very positive feeling, as you know. So I think that's helped us a lot.
Yeah, I think, basically today, I don't think there's a place on the internet to discuss football apart from maybe some Facebook groups. But, long time ago, it was like internet forums and maybe IRC chats. But
Yep.
nowadays, like you cannot discuss it in Twitter comments because it's like zero nuance and everyone is like, no, Messi is GOAT, no, Ronaldo is GOAT. Like, it's this level of the conversation.
Exactly.
You can try to discuss it like, on some football news sites, like in the comment section, but it's not that like you don't have your identity there. Everyone can use your nickname and so on. So I think you also fill the gap of this kind of forum for football fans where people can just talk about their teams, discuss these transfer rumors and so on.
It's great. You're right. I mean, I love talk about football on various places. Twitter, you're right. It's difficult to have a conversation there. Similarly, Reddit is kind of difficult also because Reddit, like they just like the way that upvote sort of mechanic works. Like if you say something that's super kind of neutral and like it really rewards people who speak in kind of like what's the word I'm looking for?
Absolute terms.
To play to the gallery. Yeah, yeah. It's sort of like a distorted conversation in a sense. I'm glad that we have the community. I think it's a lot of fun. If any of your listeners are into football, they should definitely check it out because we have very lively chats about all kinds of things from, Barcelona to everything. Everything in the football world is discussed there. I love that personally.
I'd like to ask you, like, how did you get the first community members? And do you have any growth strategies right now? I've seen the last video from, well, I forgot the name, but like this YouTuber, it was really good
Fiago.
video. Yeah, Fiago. So could you tell us a little bit like how have you built the community and how do you plan to expand it?
Sure. So I think when we started out, we were just telling our friends and family and sort of posting about it personally everywhere because our assumption was that the footballers themselves will post about it and then that'll help us get lots of people into the community because the footballers have millions of followers, as you pointed out. What we realized then is that actually, like, although footballers are posting about it, it's not resulting in like a lot of conversions. And when we dug deeper, we saw that that's because in the football world, there's a lot of mistrust of NFTs, a lot of mistrust and a lot of misunderstanding. People don't get what NFTs are. They think that they're a scam. They're a bit afraid to engage. And I think that's understandable because just like in 2017, right, when the ICO boom happened and lots of new coins came up, there's a lot of NFT projects happening now, which are just quite cash grabby. Like they're quite shallow. They don't really have a lot of integrity. They seem like scams or they seem like very poorly thought out, just as ways for people to get money from by using like the name of a popular figure just to get money from like that person's fans. In football in particular, there's a big mistrust of NFTs. So even if you look at So Rare, it doesn't have that many users. It's not like it's got like hundreds of thousands of users around the world and people know about it. People have heard the name because of course they've got partnerships with such, all of the leagues and stuff like that. But if you talk to the average football fan who's maybe even a crypto investor, probably they haven't bought a Sorare card or any other football kind of NFT. In a way, it's strange, but in a way, people would rather buy an NFT of like a hungry hippo, which is just like some faceless anon project, than buy an NFT of one of their favorite sports stars, simply because that hungry hippo is more kind of secular. It's more like neutral, and maybe it'll go up in value a lot. Whereas like a sports star's NFT, especially if it has real world utility, maybe that value is capped. And that's something that we're very aware of at Ludo Labs, right? Like by owning our NFTs, you can get experiences with your favorite football players. And therefore, the amount you'd pay for that NFT is probably capped to the amount that you would pay for that experience. Whereas something like a Bored Ape, like it doesn't have any inherent utility. They've, of course, been giving lots of benefits to their users for sure. And they're probably the number one project that does that. But other projects that maybe aren't even giving utility, that are worth tens of thousands or millions of dollars in some cases, like it's just a kind of like status symbol where everybody wants to say, hey, look, I have like a rare one. And because there's no utility, there's nothing kind of like anchoring or tethering the price to the real world, if you will. So, it's a funny thing which we discovered is that everyone wants to make money very quick, right? And that's understandable. But as a result, you would rather invest in something that is completely like a speculative punt rather than something which has some real utility, because in a way that real utility limits the ups. And we're okay with that because we don't really want, like, our community is not full of speculators and people who are buying today because they think that the price is going to go 10x. It's full of people who actually love this sport and this hobby and they want to be part of that community. So we're happy with that. We're okay with that.
Do you plan to educate the market more about the NFTs and how it works? Because like when I've spoken with people and I told them about utility, in many cases, this utility in the NFT space is a buzzword. Like people say, oh yeah, you have utility because you can join a Discord channel or something like that. But you really took it to the next level. So I'm wondering, like, do you plan on educating the market more about what's behind utility in your case?
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. So I think that was the second part of your previous question. And yes, we have many plans to actually spread the message. We're lucky because our community is super passionate and people want to actually get involved in spreading the message on their own. So we're going to do a few things. One thing is we're going to come up with various content strategies, right? To make more YouTube videos, to make more like TikTok and Instagram content that will educate people about what is Ludo Labs, what's the sort of benefit of being in the community. And we will also set up like a growth partner program. So basically, what we will say is that people who are passionate about football and NFTs and people who want to be part of the Ludo Labs mission, quote unquote, can sign up with us and basically like just go and spread the word however they want, right? It could be that you're in Poland, Max, so like, you go and you post and you spread the message on some Polish football WhatsApp chats or Instagram pages and basically help try to get people from your communities, whether they're physical or online, into the project. And we will reward our partners who go and do that. So it's like creating sort of like missionaries in a way who are go and spread the message everywhere. So those are the two strategies that we have. And then obviously, while we're doing all of that, we want to keep delivering value for our users. And one thing which we're doing, Mac, which might be interesting for your audience, because as far as I'm aware, it's new, is that we are the experiences that we give to our fans. We give those experiences in the form of a special NFT. So let's say that somebody took part in a quiz and then they won the right to get a personalized shout out from Patrice Evra, as you said. We will give that winner of the quiz a special NFT. It's called the Patman NFT, and you can check it out on OpenSea. And that NFT has certain attributes. So the NFT says right there that this NFT can be redeemed for a personalized shout out. So one of the attributes is redemption status. So currently it's unredeemed. So the person who owns it right now can go on our website and choose to redeem it at any time by signing a message with their MetaMask. But if they don't want to redeem that experience themselves, they can also transfer it somewhere else. So we think that this is a cool idea because let's say we have one user from Lebanon who won a free ticket to go watch the Champions League in Europe. he cannot travel himself. How can he transfer that experience to somebody else? It's in the form of an NFT. So luckily he can just sell it like any normal NFT, and then the new buyer can kind of redeem it.
Mm-hmm.
As our users redeem the NFTs and actually claim those experiences, we will create content out of that. Like we will show a fan getting the shout out, or we'll show a fan getting a signed jersey. And we hope that'll also make other people say, hey, how can I get that myself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also a great thing for giving gifts. Like if I knew that I have like a cousin, like he's, I don't know, maybe 10-year-old, he's like huge football fan. And if I wanted to give him something special for Christmas and I had a budget, I could just, ask the NFT owner to maybe sell it to me so I can give him this personal Patrice Evra shout out to this kid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a lot of value for people. I'm wondering, like, what were the biggest technical challenges that you faced when building Ludo Labs?
I think that one of the challenges is like, how do you kind of like select which chain to build on, right? There's so many options today. Of course, it's not like 1 year ago where the NFTs only existed on ETH, right? Today you have Tezos, Solana, Avalanche, all these different blockchains. And then just within the ETH ecosystem, you have the mainnet, layer one, and then all of the other layer two things, right? So there's a lot of thought that needs to go into like which platform you'll build your NFT on. So we decided to go with the layer one ETH because I believe Vitalik is working on like a wrapper for NFTs to go from L1 to various L2s. And we feel that like going forward, it will be possible to port NFTs. It already is, right? You can today port an NFT from Ethereum to Polygon. So it has flexibility in that sense of being like movable across various parts of the ETH ecosystem. But at the same time, the majority of users are on ETH. The majority of trading volumes are on ETH. A lot of the liquidity is on ETH. So we decided to go there. And in terms of like the technical challenges, well, I mean, there's many different components to take into account. Well, one of them is also like, how do you make the NFTs themselves? So each of our NFTs is unique. On each one of the Ludo Labs NFTs, you have a football player, but that football player can have a different background, a different costume, a different hat, sunglasses, mask, chain, whatever. So there's about 9 different attributes and about 178 traits across those 9 attributes. And we kind of decided that we want to have a unique NFT for each NFT should be unique, but we can't sit and do that by hand. So we had to come up with like an image processing algorithm to put all of those attributes together. So mix and match them. So making that actually work smoothly, making it look good, it's not super easy and straightforward. It requires some work. And then the question is like, there are billions of combinations that you can come up with, right? Like if you match every attribute with every other attribute, there's like billions of permutations. So how do you come up with some that you like? Are you going to manually make them? Are you going to sort of like generate them by machine and then like curate them? So these are things that you have to think about. And while doing all of that, you need to make sure that like the end collection you come up with has like a sort of cohesive rarity distribution. So certain attributes are more rare, certain attributes are less rare. So kind of like counting that, making sure you keep that all in check. It's not easy. So it was a lot of fun. And we learned a lot about like image processing and stuff like that, as well as like it's always good fun to build and ship on mainnet.
Okay, so there was also this another challenge that we talked before that you said that you had. Maybe it's not even a technical challenge, but more like, I don't know, like a problem that comes from minting. And it was a problem that happened when you had the first mint. Could you tell us a little bit about it and how you handled this situation? Because I think that's the most value that we can get from this story.
Sure. So basically, on Mint Day, we were all excited for dropping our project at 12 p.m. UK time, and the team was very excited, lacking sleep but excited. We had Cristiano Ronaldo comment on Dalo's post, as you mentioned, and so adrenaline was running high, excitement was running high. 12 p.m. comes, and there are hundreds of people who are refreshing our page every second. And on the discord is just full of people like talking, and we could see on the analytics that there was just hundreds of refreshes happening every second on the page. And we were like, wow, okay, we have people waiting for us to drop the project. We were just like firefighting like a last minute issue. As always, there is something that comes up, like no matter how well prepared you are, every single tech launch has some last minute something comes up. So we We finish firefighting the issue and we open up the mint and people start minting. And we sell out like roughly 22% or something like that of our entire collection in like a few minutes, in like 5 minutes or so, maybe. And we're like, okay, wow, this is going really well. And then what we see is that on the Discord, our community is saying, guys, I bought multiple NFTs and all of my NFTs were of the same football player. So we were like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. So basically for your listeners who may not know, we have 10 football players who we work with in the project and 3,500 NFTs in total. So 350 NFTs each for 10 football players. And our goal was that when you come and mint an NFT from our website, you get a random one. You could get player 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, right? It's a random thing and you don't know what you're going to get. So that's how we had designed it. And we had just basically tested everything and it was all working fine. And then when we actually went live, we realized that we didn't actually put the final, like the analogy I would say is that we had tested it and the randomization had worked in testing, but we didn't actually put that feature on in the main mint, in the live mint. So it wasn't a technical challenge of something we didn't know how to do. It was just like human error and oversight. And we were horrified. We were completely shocked and horrified because community members were saying, hey, I got the same guy. So what happened was instead of the randomization being put into place, we had 350 of the same player followed by 350 of a different player and so on and so on. And so we were shocked. This is not at all what we wanted. It was a major kind of like error on our part. And we were in the middle of mint, right? Just a few minutes in, hundreds of cards minted, community members, like everyone is talking on Discord. And we were quite like panicked and shocked and very embarrassed more than anything because we knew what we were doing. Like we have experience in this field, like we've done this before. Funnily enough, one of my co-founders and I have done a major launch in India with the National Stock Exchange of India, demonstrating a blockchain product in front of like bank CEOs and media. And on the day of our launch or of our demo, like the product failed. And in that particular case, it failed not because of us, but because there was a change made to a Google tool which broke one of our builds, which we actually had no control over. But in this case with Ludo Labs, it was our oversight. And so we were stunned. But in that moment, you have to just kind of keep a calm head and like look for solutions. So we immediately kind of told the community that, hey, look, this is what's happened. We've made this mistake. We wanted to randomize all of your NFTs. We could not actually, we had planned to do that. And in our testing, we had done that, but we forgot to actually put that feature into practice in the live mint. So what would you like us to do? Because this is not how we wanted things to be. We wanted everything to be randomized, but you guys tell us because you are the community. So we will hold a vote and we will listen to your opinions. So we gave them an option to vote on two different courses of action. The first course of action was to reshuffle the NFTs, meaning to change the metadata of the NFT so that if Mac, you owned NFT number 1, you would still own NFT with token ID 1, but that NFT would have different metadata, meaning a different player and different attributes, etc. So that was option 1, is we reshuffle the metadata of all NFTs. And option 2 is that we just don't do anything and we continue the mint as is. And we left a vote for the community and we had about like 88% of the community vote for option 1. We said, okay, fine, we'll listen to your views. And we reshuffled all the metadata. And the way that we reshuffled the metadata was that we had like already the metadata on kind of IPFS. The metadata basically consists of an NFT is just like a token. It's a token which exists on a blockchain. But what distinguishes that NFT from another NFT is the fact that it has some metadata. The metadata is basically like a JSON object, which has some attributes such as footballer Dybala, costume X, etc., etc. So we had taken those JSON files, which is basically like a little text file, and we had put all of the JSON files onto IPFS, and we had posted that publicly so the community could see that, hey, look, here is the starting index or the starting arrangement of the JSON files. We will now shuffle these JSON files according to some random seed and apply the shuffled metadata to the tokens in our collection, such that anybody can, after the fact, kind of go and check out that it was actually done randomly. So we used as the randomness seed a future Ethereum block hash. So let's say that at the time we decided to do this, the block height was 1,500. It's just a random example. We said that, okay, we'll use the block hash of 1,517 because we cannot predict that. Nobody can predict that block hash before time. And we will take that unpredictable block hash, use it as the randomness seed to a randomizer script. And then the output of that script will determine the shuffled order of the JSON files and therefore the new data that applies to each NFT. And we kind of open sourced everything and posted everything on our Discord so the community could kind of see the way that we did it. But we wanted to be as kind of transparent and open and communicative as possible. And a lot of people, of course, were understandably upset when this happened because some people got like a really cool NFT, right? A very rare NFT. And then we were telling them, hey, we're actually going to reshuffle this NFT now in accordance with the community's wishes because of a mistake that we made. And they were like, I don't like that, right? And they got upset and they left. So we had a few people leave the project and we had the momentum stall on the project, right? Whereas we had hundreds of people minting and refreshing simultaneously. A lot of them kind of like, went away when this problem took place because it took us an hour or two to fix it. So we had some people who left the project. Some people got upset with us. But luckily, the community, the majority of them were very supportive, very understanding and patient. And they really like helped us and supported us and encouraged us. And they stuck with us and we managed to fix the issue. So everything is fixed now. People, are kind of, everything is working as intended. So yeah, like a really, really, really kind of one of those experiences that puts gray hair on your head, right? And like makes you learn a lot. The only thing I can say is that, we made a silly mistake and, hopefully it's our last one. It's not our first one. Hopefully it's our last one. But either way, was awesome to see was how the community really supported us. And I think one reason why is because we were very honest about the whole thing and very kind of transparent about everything.
Yeah, I was there during the mint and I've seen this whole story from the first row. And I feel that this event like built trust between, people and the team behind Ludo Labs and sort of like strengthened the connection between, creators and the community. So like it wasn't a good thing. The way that you handle that, I think made it finally like net positive because people who remember that, they understand that you really want it to be, first of all, community driven. So people vote like how it's going to play out. And also that you want it to be just cool experience for as many people as possible. So
thank you. Yeah. Thank you for staying in and supporting us, Mac. I'm very grateful to the community and I count myself lucky that and this is what we were talking about earlier, which is that in the NFT space, people are so supportive and so positive. I really appreciate that and I resonate with that because I'm an optimist. I want to believe in the good of people and I want to believe that everything is possible and that somebody is telling the truth always. That's always my kind of like, I want to believe that. And I feel that in the NFT space, people are like that as well. And I find that awesome. I mean, there are many learnings. There are many learnings. I think that for us, like my co-founder and I have been working in the blockchain space for a while. So like, writing contracts and stuff is not new for us. But what was new for us was more the image processing side and how do you actually generate the art.
mm-hmm.
So that was a fun learning experience. I don't think it's very difficult to launch an NFT project for people who are curious. It's actually a very fun exercise. You learn a lot. It's not easy for sure. It's not easy and like, it requires lots of hard work, but it's a fun technical exercise to actually learn a lot. So I would encourage anybody who's curious to try their hand at building contracts. The cool thing about crypto, right, like Ethereum, is that you have so much knowledge that's already out there in the public domain. So you can use pre-existing templates from guys like, Open Zeppelin and other NFT projects. All of their contract code is public for the most part. So you can just look at it, learn from it, and replicate it, fork it, tweak it. And that's the cool thing about Web3 is that there's so much, everything is open source, right? Well, most things. So it's a very cool way to like learn and build in the open.
And how long have it taken for you to prepare the NFTs?
Took us about 4 months to do everything, I think.
Okay, because I have spoken with Boca and he told me that it took him so long to prepare all these illustrations for the NFTs, but they are really good looking. Like this is the first NFT that I really like visually. Like I could have my profile picture in this style, definitely.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you think that. And so for the viewers who don't know, Boca Boom is the artist. He's a Serbian artist who helped us. He made all of the art for us, and he worked extremely hard and absolutely smashed it. And we are very happy that we get to work with him because we think that he's super talented.
So we are getting till the end. So I have three questions that I always ask. So the first question is, what were the most mind-blowing projects in the NFT space that you've seen so far? Something that was like, wow.
I think art blocks is very cool. I really like the concept of generative art. And if people don't really know what that means or have like just like a high level understanding, Tyler Hobbs, who's the creator of Fidenzas, he wrote a fantastic essay about what generative art actually means, which helped me get an understanding for how difficult it is to do it. So I thought that was very cool. I liked the Loot project and the way that it kind of created this open world for people to just use their imaginations to build stuff. Of course, BAYC is doing really cool stuff. I don't know the name of this project, but I've heard about an NFT project where basically like a musician created, let's make it an example now, right? Because I don't know the details.
Mm-hmm.
So it may be, not fully correct, but let's take it as like a thought experiment. A musician created 5 NFTs. Let's say it's vocal NFT, drum NFT, guitar, keyboard, and whatever, bass. He sold those 5 NFTs and he made a website called makethesong.com. Let's just make an example. So if you own one of those NFTs, and there's only one of those copies, right? There's only one drum NFT, only one guitar NFT. If you go to makethesong.com, you can log in using MetaMask. If you have, let's say, the guitar NFT in your wallet, it will allow you to log in and you can then select the guitar component of the song. So the artist, let's say, has made 20 pre-recorded different stems or guitar tracks, and only the guy who owns the guitar NFT can select which guitar track is part of the main song.
Mm.
And similarly, the vocal guy selects the vocal one, the drum NFT owner selects the drum track, and then collaboratively, dynamically, the song gets made according to the different wishes of these different NFT owners. And then that results in the final song. I thought that idea was super cool because imagine Kanye West made something like this. And imagine that like 5 or 10 or 12 different people could like collaboratively make the final Kanye West song, which streams on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. Like, how cool would that be? Like, that would be insane. So I found that idea very cool. And it's just one of the ways that I think NFTs can be used.
Wow, that's amazing. Like, I was researching music NFTs, but that's something new to me. And also like this feeling that you kind of co-created the song that is being played. Like,
yeah,
I own a Blouse, like worst case NFT.
Yeah.
And this idea that like whenever I play it on Spotify, I feel like I'm kind of like an owner of this song is super cool. But feeling that you are a co-creator of the song is just the next level of, awesomeness.
Yeah.
And what was like the thing that made you really laugh or smile in this Web3 space? Like some kind of project or a person or an anecdote that you had?
Well, I mean, like often I just find myself like shaking my head in disbelief because like, we're like trading monkey pictures worth like thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in some cases. And it seems so insane. And it can be overwhelming at times. It can be stressful. It can be like, I'm sure everybody here is either trying to make money or like everybody wants to make money, of course. Everyone's either trying to make money or like kicking themselves for not making enough money. And it can be very overwhelming or stressful to not just deal with NFTs, but crypto or money in general. But in the NFT world, what always makes me smile is that the community is so positive. People are very encouraging, uplifting, ready to help each other out. Everybody really believes in a brighter future. And it's beautiful to see the way that people, rally around that future.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, I feel that in this community, there's like no stupid ideas.
Yeah.
Like, there's this kind of encouragement to do whatever the fuck you come up with and just put it out there and see how it works. So this is really a really nice attitude. Okay, so the last question I have, because it was super interesting conversation, I'm very glad that we could talk. The last question I have, do you have any idea whom I should invite next? Like who would be a good fit for this kind of conversation? Someone who either runs or co-builds a project in the Web3 space?
Yeah, I mean, have you spoken to Madhavan yet or not?
Yeah. He was my first guest.
Oh, okay. Really? Yeah. So he's amazing. Love him, what he's doing. Guys from Polygon, I think, would be fantastic fits. I think very impressed with what they do. Maybe Mihailo or someone else from Polygon. There's an Indian company called Mudrex, which is doing something very cool. I don't know if you've spoken to Rohit. Have you spoken to Rohit from Mesh
Yeah.
as well? So maybe I'm just going through all of your existing guests, but these are people who I know because of the Indian crypto movement.
Yeah, but like the guys from Polygon might be a good fit. But I feel that the fact that you mentioned Madhavan and Rohit is kind of like a positive thing because it means that the people that I've spoken with are, top Indian founders in the Web3 space. So this is cool.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. If like I think that we're going to hear a lot more about Madhavan in the coming years. I think he's going to be a major force in Web3, and Rohit and the team at Mudrex as well are like just like top quality, and the stuff that they're doing, making crypto investing easier, is awesome. So yeah, 100% very high quality guests that you've had on here. Hopefully, I live up to that billing. But otherwise, I mean, outside of that, I think the creators of Wolf Game, I'd be very curious to hear about Wolf Game, how that's going. Divine Anarchy is a very interesting NFT project, which has a very ambitious goal for being the first social experiment of tribe making on the blockchain, where you can select your tribe and battle other tribes in like this online kind of war game built on NFTs. There's so many cool projects. I would love to hear about any of those, even any of the artists from Art Blocks. I mean, there's just so many people who I would love to hear their stories.
Okay, thanks a lot for these recommendations and for our chat. And well, I see you on the Discord channel of Ludo Labs.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And hopefully some of your viewers join us as well.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to take a look. You don't need an NFT to see the channel and just talk with people. So really take a look because it's really worth it.
Thank you so much, Mac. Very nice to be here and see you soon on the Discord, sir.
See you.